All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Hi, my name is Austin Canary. I'm a content producer here from ShipStation. Welcome to our webinar today. I'd like to start by introducing today's speaker. Margie Zabel-Fisher has handled PR for ShipStation since 2013. At that time, our Vice President of Marketing, Robert Gilbreth, brought in Margie after working with him at his previous company. And here are some of Robert's comments about Margie and her company. So he said, she and her team are experts at product and e-commerce publicity. In addition, ZFPR provides content for us. Margie also is an out-of-the-box strategic thinker and has provided useful ideas that have helped us in our rapid growth. We hope for a continued long and successful working partnership. So as the owner and founder of Zabel-Fisher Public Relations for over 16 years, Margie, along with her team, has helped thousands of businesses, including ShipStation customers, grow through publicity and PR. Zabel-Fisher clients have been featured in top media, including the Oprah Magazine, Good Housekeeping, Us Weekly, US Today, the Wall Street Journal, BuzzFeed, the Huffington Post, Real Simple, InStyle, Good Morning America, The Today Show, and Entrepreneur Magazine, and thousands more. So thank you, Margie, for leading the webinar today, and I'll hand it off to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Austin. Well, hello, everybody. This is Margie Zabel-Fisher from Zabel-Fisher Public Relations. Welcome to today's webinar, Get Fourth Quarter Publicity and Cash In on Fourth Quarter Sales. Before we get started, I just wanted to cover a couple of housekeeping items. First of all, as you have logged into the webinar, you should see on the screen the first slide with the title of today's webinar and a picture below it of Oprah's favorite thing. So if you see that, you're good to go. Next, we have lots of people on the call and more that will be coming on, I'm sure, in the next few minutes. So the only audio you'll hear is me. If you have questions or issues, please send them through the questions feature on the right-hand side control panel. You'll also use the questions feature to ask questions if we have time, which we usually do, at the end of the webinar. But feel free to ask me during, and if I can answer during that time, I will, if you have a burning question. As a reminder, this webinar is being recorded. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure many or all of you would love to have your products featured in O Magazine, the Oprah Magazine, Real Simple, People, and More. Of course, you're not the only company that wants to do that. So do thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands of other companies. So to stand out from the competition and to maximize your success, I'm going to share with you my over 16 years in my own business and more after that, more before that, sorry, of pitching secrets and tips to help you land top publicity placements that lead to sales. For many years, I've helped clients, hundreds of them, get year-round and especially fourth quarter media coverage. In fact, my team and I have already begun pitching clients for fourth quarter publicity coverage since many top magazines work 6 months in advance of publication. As a reminder, during today's 60-minute webinar, you will learn insider tips from top magazine holiday gift guide editors, how to make a so-so item become a wow media-worthy item, this year's media hot buttons for holiday gift guide coverage, why your product's price point is so important and the key price points the media is looking for, typical mistakes and how to correct them, the 5 pieces of information you must include in your pitch to make it successful, examples of successful product placements and why they got in, and much more. Before I go on, for the second year in a row, maybe the third, gosh, Austin, it's hard to remember, time is flying, but a big thank you to our sponsor and client, ShipStation. ShipStation is the leading web-based shipping solution that helps e-commerce retailers import, organize, process, package, and ship their orders quickly and easily from any web browser. I know some of you on the call are from ShipStation, some are folks that I know, and some are folks that have found out about this through others or through social media. If you do not use ShipStation currently, and if you sell online in any way, shape, or form, ShipStation is the way to go. And you can sign up for a free trial at www.shipstation.com. I highly encourage you do that. They're great. And I'm not just saying that because you're a sponsor. Many of my clients use you. Okay, moving on. So what is a holiday gift guide publicity placement? It's a third party, in this case the media, inclusion of your product in a holiday gift guide print or online feature or TV or radio segment. It usually includes an image or video of the product, a brief description, and a website address and/or store where the item can be purchased. A gift guide placement costs you nothing, unlike advertising, except for the price of samples and shipping and any additional costs that might include hiring a PR company or specialist like us. And unlike advertising, where you agree to pay a specific price and you get a specific message in a specific media outlet at a specific time, PR is none of those things, but is a lot more powerful. Moving on. Why holiday gift guide publicity placements lead to sales? Well, if you think about it this way, a third party, in this case the media, is endorsing the products as gifts. So when someone recommends something to you, it's a lot more powerful as a third party than reading an ad online or in a magazine. Because basically, someone says, hey, this is a great product. It's not you, the manufacturer or seller of the product. It's someone else recommending you. So it's much more powerful and credible. Second, consumers just buy more gift items during the fourth quarter than at any other time. So Marketing 101, one of the basic tenets of marketing, is that you always put time and effort and money into a place where you're going to get the most return. So you might as well focus your efforts during fourth quarter because that's when you have the majority of buyers. Third, a media placement during this time, and this is actually pretty important, is much more likely to include a place, generally a website, where people can buy your product. Because the media knows during this time that people want to buy stuff and they're doing a service to their readers or viewers by providing a website or a store where folks can buy things. Sometimes throughout the year, they won't be as clear about how to buy the products, or they might put them at the end of a magazine or in a grouping somewhere on a web page, but usually they include it within the actual feature during this time, making it a lot more likely that folks will immediately be able to buy your product. Now, you might be wondering what types of products are included in holiday gift guides and if your product is a good fit. During the holidays, media that wouldn't normally feature certain types of products actually do include them. For instance, the only time Oprah magazine features gifts for kids is during its December O list. And I know, for those of you, I think we have a couple of pet companies on here. Pets are also really big in terms of gifts at the holidays, gifts for pets as well as gifts for pet lovers. So really that's a pretty big range as well. But almost every category, food, clothing, fashion, beauty, home, tech, pets, kids, anything you can think of that can actually function as a gift is covered. Now that said, the media, of course, they want something new and exciting and wonderful, so they like wow products, which we'll talk about a little bit more ongoing. Colorful products are important because when they're in print, the art editors and folks just like to have colorful, interesting looking things, generally. There's a few exceptions, but generally. Obviously, even though these aren't super hardcore news outlets, They still want products that have not received major media coverage. They still want new. And of course, products that provide exceptional value for the price, with a few exceptions. You know, we have some luxury options and that sort of a thing. But otherwise, it still needs to provide exceptional value. When should you pitch the media? And again, this sometimes surprises folks as well. Generally, July and August is when we pitch monthly magazines, and we nail down everything in September, and they're usually on press by end of December. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the way it still is. Then we pitch our weekly magazines and daily newspapers during September and October. And then November and December, we have websites, blogs, and TV. Those aren't hard and fast rules. Sometimes we can go a little bit earlier, a little bit later. But for the most part, that's what you need to consider. So obviously, you know, when folks come to me later in October, November, sometimes we've missed a lot of opportunities. But now you have the whole rest of the year open to you for media placement. So that will be a good thing. Okay, folks have asked me in the past exactly what happens when we send out a pitch. So here's what happens. You'll make your initial pitches, or I will, or someone will, before the media deadline. But then a lot of things happen after that. So once we send in an email pitch, the media may request samples. And they usually do if they're interested. And by the way, you know that you don't usually get them back. So if they're sampling them and trying them, unless it's a super high-end item, they usually keep those samples. Anyway, the product may undergo several reviews by a team of people. So that's another reason they'll be using them. And sometimes they require several samples for several team members. Then if your product is chosen during the actual review and it's final, so I'm saying final with an asterisk, the media may then ask for product photos, they might ask for a discount for their readers or viewers, and they might ask you to review the wording describing your product. At that point, the design team takes over at the magazine or newspaper or TV. And the frustrating part here is that due to how things lay out on a page, due to the amount of advertising in a print publication, or the amount of on-air time a TV person has, at the very last minute things can get cut, which is incredibly frustrating. But bottom line is, until something in print goes to press and until something online or TV gets published or broadcast, you're not 100% sure that you will be included. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but this is the reality of placements. You know, don't assume if O Magazine is asking for samples that you're in, because it's happened to me hundreds of times. You know, until that thing goes to press, you're never really sure. So just trying to be realistic, but once you have the expectations right, you know, we can move forward. So now that I've given you some perspective on holiday gift guide placement, let's move into some of the nuts and bolts of holiday gift guide publicity. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer or if you're part of a PR firm, your primary responsibilities are to determine the appropriate media outlets and contacts, write a great pitch, send it out, and follow up. The responsibility of everyone on this call, if you're a client or a product company, are to provide a unique product that looks terrific in person and in photos, a clean and professional website, and excellent photography. So let's talk about your product. The left side of this template shows problems and the right side are solutions, okay? So the first breakdown on the left is offering a product that is not a gift item. So just to clarify, many products that are non-gift items are featured in the media throughout the year. There's tons of features on every possible product imaginable. However, gift guides require that these need to be gift items. And they need to be real gift items, not just practical items that you think you can call a gift, but really aren't. And the media is ruthless, and I use that, actually I'm kind of underestimating the ruthlessness here, but they are ruthless about this. You know, if you think a screwdriver is a gift, it's not. Maybe, you know, a screwdriver that is part of a funky set for, well, Breast Cancer Awareness Month comes to mind because I know of one. That's not holiday, but, you know, if there's a way you can make it into a gift set or something cool or funky, then maybe. But, you know, you can't just say, well, this can be a gift. It has to be something that people think is a gift. And there are ways to do that, which we'll talk about in a minute. Okay, the next breakdown is having a product that's not unique enough. And when I say unique, just to be really brutal here, most product companies, and I actually hope that's true of all of you, really love your products and you think everything is just amazing. But the media sees hundreds of products a week, thousands a year. So you're competing with so many other companies. And if you've ever studied a gift guide or read through one or seen one on TV, you know that most of those products have the wow factor, which we'll talk about in a bit. And they meet some other criteria as well. But at the minimum, if you can't say why your product is unique, you may want to modify it, which we'll cover shortly. And the third breakdown is price. Okay, I know some folks on this call have some luxury items, which definitely is a different animal. But for those of you who have things under $100, I just want to be real specific here. Many gift guides actually break things down by price. So oftentimes I'll see either under $10 and or stocking stuffers, then we'll have under $25, and then we'll have under $50. So if you have, and this has happened to clients on several occasions, if you have something that costs $10.99, I will often say to you, you know, even just for the holiday season, can we make it $9.99? You know, or if something is $35 instead of $25, I might, and it's a gift set, I might say, can we play around with that gift set and see if we can find a way to get something under $25? Again, it's not the be all end all, but it's a way just to fit into a lot of categories and not automatically get you rejected from a category because of price. So some flexibility is really important here. And I'm going to give you a couple of specific examples in a minute. Okay, so everyone's favorite placement, my favorite placement, is when I get someone in Oprah magazine. So this particular item was from a few years ago. I try and use my client examples when I can. So this is a company called Tox Watches. Their watches were $50. And I'm showing how something went from functional to giftable. So basically, you know, watches are kind of a dime a dozen, right? So the difference here is that these watches came in a bunch of fun colors. And this was a couple of years ago before we had so many fun, funky things coming out and before cell phones were so big, obviously, right? But they had really funky styles and colors in a really great price point. So the key for the Oprah team, another thing here is something I say in the media tip below, is that the colorful along with the price point made this really great and really kind of unisex as well, because either men or women could wear these, or even kids. So they pretty much checked all the boxes. You know, they had a great price, they were colorful, they covered almost every type of gifty, everything like that. And they looked really good on a page, and they could do a nice, like, tower here. You see all four. Sometimes the designers like to stack things up, you know, if you give people options, if you have different colors, that's something that helps as well. So that's how a functional type of watch can go from being functional to getting in Oprah magazine. So my next example is from BuzzFeed, which is currently my top online placement for sales, because, you know, we track sales from all this stuff too, right? That's the goal, I hope, for most of you or all of you. Should be your number one goal. So we're going from typical to unique here. And this example, it's really fun. It's called Kiss My Grits Lip Scrub from Salacious Salt in Savannah, Georgia. So Kiss My Lips Lip Scrub is not your typical lip scrub, which is also a dime a dozen for those of you folks who are familiar with lip scrubs. And this beauty editor wrote about it, so believe me, she's seen them all at BuzzFeed. But what makes this one unique is, not surprisingly, that it has grits in it. And I use it, and it's really amazing. But yes, it really does taste like grits, which is fine, but it really works. So something typical becomes unique because it's made with grits, and it's a cute name. It's not particularly visually attractive, but in this case, especially with beauty products, if they work, then that's really the most important thing. Or if an editor loves them, that's just as important as the visuals. So this one placement led to many, many sales. My next example is The Price is Right. So what we have here is from greatest.com, which is another top online outlet for all kinds of great things. So this is a client example from calendars.com. It was featured in a gifts under $25. And I think I mentioned to all of you that that's one of the main price points. So, okay, a mug is about as ho-hum as you can get, okay? And believe me, these folks get pitched mugs constantly, because I've talked to many editors over the years. However, the Star Wars Stormtrooper mug is a wow. Now, it's pretty much white with a few little flashes of gray and black, as you can see in the picture. So visually, it's not as colorful, but it's really cool. It's a really, really cool mug. Plus, at the time, this was, I think, in 2015, one of the Star Wars movies came out. So it was a great tie-in because we tied into a trend, into a movie. So it made it even more powerful. So that's how you move from ho-hum to pricing something right and making it media worthy. Even if it's not that colorful, we covered everything else. Okay, stocking stuffers. So whenever I ask editors if there's anything in particular they'd like to see, they almost always tell me they need more stocking stuffers. And if you think about it, it's pretty logical. It's hard for us to get things, you know, in this case, it's under 25, which is actually pretty high for a stocking stuffer list. A lot of times it'll be under 10, under 15, but most products are not that low, and gift products especially. So the pool they have to work with is smaller. So if you make soaps, like a few of these companies I think are on the call today, that's really great. Soaps are fantastic as stocking stuffers, especially if they're really funky and different. If you have sample size kits, like I know some of the beauty companies have here for like $15 or so, those are terrific also. In this case, they need to be not only priced right, but they really should technically be able to fit in a stocking. Now, some of these don't, but if you'll notice, most of them, you could fit them in a stocking, so you're not gonna have an enormous game that costs 15 bucks. That's not really a stocking stuffer. It's really size and price. So even if you have things that fit in a stocking, they can also be used, and this is what stocking stuffers function as well, as low-cost gift items for people like teachers, gifts for service professionals, Secret Santa, that kind of thing. They use stocking stuffers for everything. So if there's a way for you to create something or offer something under 10, under 15, under $25, then you have a much better chance than other higher priced items to get into media outlets. Our next example is from Cool Snow Globes. And this is a client, and they actually signed up for the webinar today. So Kathleen, if you're on, hi. Super cool. I have one in my house. It's the coolest snow globe ever, and the only snow globe I own for a reason. But anyway, this is how we move from so-so to gift-worthy. So if any of you have any snow globes or are familiar with snow globes, you probably know that, unfortunately, many of them are sort of things you get when you travel to Atlantic City, or if you go on vacation and they're kind of hokey and they're touristy things. Well, that's not what snow globes are from Cool Snow Globes. The ones from Cool Snow Globes, first of all, are a higher price point, obviously. But secondly, they're really works of art that happen to be snow globes. So, I mean, it's really, I have a snow globe here, and it's just so beautiful. It's autumn, and it has like a little bridge. It's like miniature piece of art that are encapsulated in a snow globe. So this elevated them to a wow gift item. They were featured in several outlets, including Simply the Best, which is a high-end media publication. But this is one way, again, if you have an item, to move it to gift worthy is by having something unique about your item. So the next example is specific target audience. And this is really important because I'm seeing more and more of this. This example is from Ballpark Blueprint. What this means is, this particular example says Dapper Dude on it, which is basically, for, Dapper Dad, Dapper Dude, Cool Dad, whatever you want to call it. But other than a Dapper Dude, we have all kinds of specific gift guides within regular gift guides. So you'll see things like gifts for pets, gifts for moms, gifts for your best friend, gifts for chocolate lovers, gifts for adventurous dads, gifts for fashionista, gifts for, the metrosexual, any kind of thing. So we're seeing more and more of that, just so people can kind of play around these media outlets with different categories. So it's more fun. But really, if you can include in your pitch a general description as well as a specific target audience that might appeal, that your gift might appeal to, then that's even more powerful. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. The next example that is just getting out of control, a current media hot button, is the trend of discounts and deals. So I know you all see these on TV and you see them everywhere. It's hard to pick up certainly a magazine, and you look on Good Morning America, Today Show, they all have major discounts and deals. In many holiday gift guides now are not only including these great gift items, you'll see this in Oprah magazine too, but it includes a discount on those items or a discount on items from the entire company. So this example that we see here is from Midwest Living, a pretty high-end regional publication. And in this example, Ballpark Blueprint offered a 15% discount on all their items for Midwest Living readers. And it's great because, PR and publicity is sometimes very hard to track. But when you offer a code, it's perfect because you can really track exactly what sales came from either this placement from someone reading it, or from someone telling someone about it, or posting on social media. Any way you slice it, Ballpark Blueprints was able to track sales here, and they got quite a few sales from it. So I would highly recommend, if you get asked for that, or if you want to explain you can offer it, which we do in a lot of our pitches initially, we'll say, happy to offer a discount to your readers or viewers. That's something that's really important, and then can also really help you with tracking and with sales. Our next example shows last-minute gifts, which I've been noticing more and more for holiday gift guides. We have here Pop Sugar, which is another top online media outlet. And this example is super fun. It's single swag. They are a super fast-growing monthly subscription box for single women. And basically, they had this as a last-minute gift option. We had pitched it months before, but Pop Sugar decided to do it as a last minute, even though the recipient wouldn't get the gift in time, the actual box. They got a notice saying they were going to be getting it. So they considered that legit for last-minute gifts. But for all of you who can do, you know, gift certificates or any other kind of last-minute, or if you have last-minute shipping, where you actually can get things in the couple days before major holidays, and that's really, really useful. And a lot of times, again, your competition and your pool of other products is much smaller, so you have a much bigger chance of actually getting those media placements. Okay, so let's move on from those examples and get into presentation. This is something that is misunderstood, let's put it that way, and not given enough priority. Presentation. So we're all visual people, right? So are media folks. They're humans too. And here's a couple things that we need. First impression. I actually have a really good example of this, frustrating example. A new editor took over at Women's Day a couple months ago, and I had pitched her a mug from a client, not the Star Wars mug, another different one, for like a football or tailgating kind of piece. Anyway, we'd never had any problems before, but our folks had their factory send the mug, and it was broken the first time. The president of the factory said, "I swear it'll never happen again." They sent it again, it broke the second time. And the editor was just like, "Oh, sorry, we can't include it." But really what she was also hinting around about in some of her other emails was that, you know, if they can't send it to me where it's not broken, a media person, I can't be sure that a customer's gonna get it and it won't be broken. So poor packaging, broken samples as you'll see here, photos that aren't clear, interesting, unprofessional website, all these things are really more important than you think. And actually, a media person will go to your website and will check out what it looks like, or will go on Amazon if that's what you're using is your website, and will see how you position your products, and will check out the reviews. So it all makes a difference. They want to make sure that their potential readers or viewers are able to see something that looks professional and that is viable. So everything you put out there is something the media sees and judges you on. And make sure, in terms of photos, this is really important. Most website photos are around 72 dots per inch or DPI, but make sure you have photos available in 300 DPI resolution, because nowadays, every year, fewer and fewer editors and segment producers are doing their own photography, fewer and fewer, unless it's a live segment, that's different. But especially for print and online, they're gonna ask you to send them a photo, and even if they're online, they like the 300 DPI, that's a better resolution. And if you don't have it, you're gonna be scrambling and it's not gonna work out. And you need it on a white background too. So make sure to have all that stuff available when you're pitching, because sometimes they don't even request samples. They'll request just photos, and that's really important too. I'll cover a little bit more about this on the next couple slides. So this is a really kind of obvious example, and just because I happen to have these available as before and afters. This was a stain cleaner company, not a great holiday item necessarily, although we did actually get some good stocking stuffer things for them. But as you can see in this photo, the original photo had a gray background. It was the original packaging, but you couldn't see it anyway in the left-hand photo. In the middle was their newer packaging, but also in sort of a crisper resolution in a white background. And then, of course, we had some props, which are always fun to have, which a lot of times the media doesn't use, but it does get them in the mood to think about the holidays. So it's kind of fun to have them. And those props are good also for social media and for banners, which we use them for as well. So if you have the opportunity, that's kind of fun too. And I do have a company, a photo company called POW Photography out of Chicago that we use all the time, that I send all my customers to when we need e-commerce photos relatively inexpensively and on a white background. And they usually will give a discount if you mention me. So if any of you are looking for something like that, you just end up sending them your products. They take the photos and then they send them back to you. Then let me know, contact me, which I'll give you my contact info later, and I can get you that info. And then to finish this part up, great website. So I know some of you, this may be obvious, but if it isn't, you know, a great website is really important. This is a Shopify site, which we went to after they started out with something else. But obviously, this is really important just to keep a professional, clean, and easy ordering process. I'm sure many of you know that, but if you don't, I guarantee you the media checks every single homepage. Even if you're selling on Amazon, they'll go and just see how your homepage looks or your website. And if it doesn't look legit, and they've told me this, they won't include you because they don't want customers to go to a crummy looking site. So it's pretty important. So the next steps, once you have everything ready in the product and presentation portions, is beginning to pitch to the media. So again, left side is breakdown, right side is solution. So your pitch has to be well written, attention getting, and informative. It must be sent to the right media outlet in contact at the right time, and you must follow up, which is always the hardest part for everyone. After sending out a pitch, it's not unusual to have to follow up 5 or 10 times, which I've done, via phone or email, usually email, to get a response. At this point, and I've made hundreds of calls per day for many, many years, I might get a handful to answer out of 100 calls. The media at this point is really getting cut down, the actual, you know, editors and staff members. They're relying on a lot of freelancers who work from home or they're traveling. So email really is the way to go. And they're so busy and overloaded, you constantly have to follow up, even if they're interested, even if they say they're publishing you. Don't expect them to say, oh, here's your placement. You know, 1 out of 100 will do it. But you're going to have to follow up and say, hey, I know you said the placement was coming out November 23rd. You know, do you have a PDF of that? Or could you send me a copy? That kind of thing. So you really have to be on top of them because they're just busy and there's less and less of them to get anything done. So let's talk next about the 5 items you have to include in every email pitch. And the one piece that almost everyone forgets. Okay, so the first one and the most important one by far is a catchy subject line. And I use this example because it's a really good one, but I know not everyone's going to be lucky enough to be able to have this. But I've tested this, and I have a tracking system for my pitches, and this one had the most opens and clicks. My favorite is wine gadget makes 2-buck chuck taste like a $50 bottle of wine. So this particular company made a gadget that basically aged your wine in a very short time, and it made it taste better. So obviously, in 2-buck chuck, this was a little while ago because I think now 2-buck chuck is like $2.99 chuck, but I guess it's still under $3. But it was super cool, you know, because who doesn't want to just buy 2-buck chuck and get something that tastes like a $50 bottle of wine? checked all the boxes at least enough to get people to open the email. Because remember, you just want them to open the email. That's critical. Okay, so the next one is your contact information, which surprisingly, some people forget, okay? The easiest way to do this is to include it in your email sig line so you don't forget it. But if you don't want to do that, make sure to include your email address, your website address, your office number, and your cell phone number, especially cell phone number. And it may be the same, but on the off chance they want to call you or have to do something quickly, you certainly don't want to be leaving them in the lurch because they won't bother trying to track you down. If it's not real easy, they'll move on to the next person. So the third thing would be the description of the product and what makes it unique. So obviously, you have to describe the product, but the problem is you can't use flowery language, and you can't use a lot of wording. I say a lot because sometimes I'll work on pitches with clients, and they'll try and send me their flowery marketing language, and that marketing language goes over like a big thud to media folks. They hate marketing language. So it sounds really boring sometimes when I'm describing products, but these media folks basically are kind of like, they just want the facts, ma'am, if you remember that expression. They just want to know, what makes it unique, price, product, a link and/or image, and where they can get it. So that's really critical. In terms of where they can get it, they almost always want a website. I'm finding some of them want to know if they're in major brick and mortar retailers like Target or Walmart. But because so many folks have customers everywhere, even in, Oshkosh, B'gosh, Oklahoma or something that might not have a Target, then they want websites as well. And they're happy to put Amazon in. I hate to say it because I know Amazon's taking over the world, but I've even seen some gift guide outlets lately doing stories on, 10 great things you can find on Amazon, gulp. So that's not even a detractor anymore. I know most folks prefer to put their own website, which is fine as well, but really any website would be great. And then each year I go back and forth, but lately email systems are stripping out photos. So sometimes I'll include a low-res photo in the actual pitch, but lately I've just been doing a link to either a website or something on my own press kit site so that folks can actually take an image, see an image, or you can send them to your website if it's up, but if it's not up and it's brand new, they'll still need to see an image, and they're usually wanting to see that somewhere online. So you'll have to see how that all works. But you must include an image because that's really critical for them. They have to see what it looks like. And of course, price. This is the thing that most people forget. Sounds obvious, but it's not. The other thing I've noticed is sometimes folks think, well, I'm going to surprise the media and not tell them what the price is, because this way they'll contact me and ask what the price is. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. The media gets really grumpy about that. They, like I said, they just want the facts. So they want all that information and they kind of want it now. So if you don't give it to them, it's very likely that they'll go on to the next person. Oh, okay, so we're at 2:45, so good timing. We have a little bit of time, so we can definitely have some questions if you want to send them through the questions. But I'd like to thank you and provide a special offer to all of you. You'll be getting a brief survey after this call, and I'd love your feedback because it helps make future webinars better. So, okay. Before I take questions, let me just say that I am also offering, as a thank you for being on this call, a free 30-minute holiday gift guide publicity consultation. We did this last year and a lot of folks really liked it. I give you an idea of really how I think you can position your products in gift guides. And then if you're interested, we also talk about how we can help you do publicity if you'd rather outsource that. So these 30-minute calls are usually very useful. So you can sign up by clicking on that link there to just book a time, the Margie one at youcanbook.me. If you click on that, you'll get that. So thank you very much. Let me take a couple of questions if I have any. Let's see. Austin, I'm not sure if we're going to open up audio now. Can you do that just in case? Or do you just want folks to do this through the questions? I'm not sure if everyone wants to do that or not.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to open up that webinar control panel and type them in. Unfortunately, I can't open up the mic from our end, but yeah, if you have any questions regarding any of the content that Margie talked about today or about her services, or if you happen to have any questions about ShipStation, feel free to type them in and we'll take the next 13 minutes or so to answer those.
Okay, I have one. This is from Teresa. Trying to open this up. Many blogs are doing their gift guides much earlier than November to be the first these days. Can you talk more about websites, blogs, social media influence, etc.? Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, a lot of folks are trying to get the jump on other folks, you know, competition, media outlets, so that they can be first. And plus, you know, a lot of folks are trying to get a jump on their holiday shopping as well. So I would say that yes, websites, blogs, social media, influence, etc. Websites and all those folks are actually increasing in terms of the availability of gift guide placements. So we actually each year get more and more pitching time and get more and more placements in online guides, because that's an increasing area of the media online, right? Print magazines are unfortunately folding a couple every year, the big ones especially. So yeah, you can't ignore online guides, and that's really good for e-commerce folks especially, because if someone's reading an online gift guide and they're already online, whatever device they're using, they're still online. So it's even easier for them to buy something online as well. So I would say that those are really critical to your gift guide strategy. Okay, here's another question. What kind of strategy would you suggest for items that are a high price point around $100? Yes, good question, because I took a look at some of the folks signed up today, and I know some of you have higher end items. So the best strategy you can use is to identify media outlets that actually cover things at $100 price point or above. So the low-hanging fruit for that would be places like, you know, Vogue, Vanity Fair, GQ, depending, I don't know if it's a female, male product, whatever. Better Homes and Gardens, places that target affluent readers. There's also a lot of outlets like People Magazine and stuff that will do like a lust or a must. You know, so a must might be, you know, a cool belt for $40, and a lust might be a $145 belt that is just amazing. So they do that throughout the year, and they do that in gift guides. So really, it's a matter of, you have to be a lot more targeted. But the other thing I could say is, you know, if you want to pitch mainstream outlets as well, sometimes a Family Circle or a Good Housekeeping, I'm trying to think of last year, they'll say, you know, they only want things under 50, but once in a while they'll have a splurge page, and Real Simple will do that too. So you could still pitch it, you know, as a splurge or, you know, a luxury item or something like that. But I would be really targeted and choose media placements. You might need to do a little research and or hire some folks, they can help you with that. That's what I'd suggest.
That's good stuff. Hey, Margie, we had a quick question come in about ShipStation. I figured I'd go ahead and answer it real quick. So we had a question about whether or not ShipStation connects with Walmart. The answer is yes. We connected with Walmart several months ago. So we have a direct integration with them. You can use ShipStation to process any of the online orders that you're fulfilling or selling through Walmart. So really great integration. They also asked, what other partnerships are new. Some really big ones. We recently announced our integration with GeekSeller. The big thing about GeekSeller is that they are an affordable API integration that allows you to connect to jet.com. So we've had several requests for a very long time for an integration with Jet. And although we don't currently offer a direct integration with Jet, GeekSeller offers an incredible solution to start getting your jet.com orders into ShipStation directly. Another one that I want to give a shout out to as far as like the higher end partnerships that we've had, we now also directly integrate with Shopify Plus. So Shopify has been, one of our partners close to day one, but we've recently integrated with Shopify Plus so that the upscale merchants that are currently working with Shopify Plus, they can now get those orders into ShipStation as well. There's plenty more I could go through, but if you are interested in our top integrations, or if you want to scroll through all of them, feel free to just go to shipstation.com/partners, and you'll be able to check out all the guys that we integrate and that we partner with.
Excellent. I think also in the survey that we'll send out in a minute, there's a question at the end that says if you want more information or if you want to speak to someone from ShipStation, if you'd also want to do that, I think you have that opportunity as well. So that may be another way.
Yeah, absolutely.
To handle that. And,
and if you have any more questions for Margie or I after we answer the ones here, just feel free to leave them in that survey in the last box where it asks for additional comments.
That's great. All right, let me whip through a couple of these real fast, if you don't mind. I think we have a couple minutes. So another question is there a good online resource or list of publications with contact info to use for gift guide proposals? Yes, there is. It's formerly known as Bacon's Incision Point. It's basically the PR industry's database of media. Unfortunately, it costs anywhere from $3,000 a year and up, so it's pretty pricey. I don't know if they have any deals going on now, but that's one of the reasons, that folks hire us, because they don't want to spend that and or spend the time involved to kind of research things one by one that are up to date. So, but it's an option, and that would be Cision is CISION. If you want to look it up, you can definitely check there. A couple more things. Do any of the media outlets demand exclusivity to feature your product? Really, no. The one thing that does help in terms of exclusivity, though, since you're using that word, is if you are the exclusive provider of that product, that is incredibly useful. That's one of the first questions I ask clients. Are you the exclusive provider of this particular soap? So either you make it yourself, or if you get it from somewhere, you're the only one that provides it. That's actually more important than the media having exclusivity, if that makes sense. Should we give eBay and Walmart links as well as Amazon links for marketplaces? Okay, so I don't give any more than 2 links to places to buy in a pitch, and it's usually your company website and Amazon, unless you have everything on Walmart or whatever. And I guess I would say it should be the 2 places that have most of your product. So if instead of Amazon, you have everything on your website and eBay, then yeah, I would list your website and eBay. But I don't give more than 2 places, because then it gets confusing. And then I usually like to put, if I have Amazon, I like to do a website, a corporate website and Amazon, because different media like to do different things. Some want to put Amazon, some would rather do your corporate website, but any more choices than that and they start getting confused. So we just kind of leave that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have some nice, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just going to add to that point.
Yeah.
You know, in my experience, what I've seen with our ShipStation users is, you know, generally Walmart is, you know, fairly safe as far as sharing links because in most situations, it's usually a replacement of Amazon, or maybe you do both Walmart and Amazon. But with eBay, it's a little trickier just because links directly to your products can change. So luckily with Walmart and Amazon, it usually stays pretty consistent, but with eBay, it can change. So that's all I wanted to add to that.
Awesome. Okay, good. So I think we're done with questions. So Austin, I'm going to wrap up. Thanks to everyone for joining us today. Thanks to our sponsor, ShipStation again. I wish you all Holiday Gift Guide Publicity success and make it a great one. Bye now.